Intense fighting raging along the border ahead of an expected phone call from U.S. President Donald Trump to leaders of both countries.
The casualties are mounting, at least 20 reported dead. As the latest round of hostilities enter a fifth day, both sides trading accusations that civilians are being targeted in artillery and rocket fire.
The Thai local media says that Cambodian shells have hit homes. About 600,000 people are reported to have fled the border areas in both countries. The displaced families on the Thai side fearing the conflict could spread further inland.
กลัวมันมาหาเราไม่ใช่ว่าเพราะว่ามันคือรวมกันไงค่ะคือชุมชนคนรวมกันเยอะแล้วมันไม่ใช่แค่ตรงนี้นะคะมันติดกันเลยค่ะเพราะว่าถ้าว่าโดนขึ้นมาปุ๊บมันก็จะเยอะอะค่ะมันหลายคน
The situation is precarious for Thais and Cambodians working on the other side of the border. Hundreds of Cambodian workers in Thailand have reportedly been waiting to return home. Reuters reporting the two Southeast Asian neighbors are in talks to open a border crossing to allow Thai workers in Cambodia's Phoi Phet to go back.
The human cost of war is rising. Thailand saying 9 of its soldiers have been killed. Cambodia reporting death of at least 11 people, including an infant. One Cambodian soldier who died in the clashes was laid to rest in Siem Reap province.
Well, Tony Waterman across the story for CNA with the view from Washington, if you like. Tony, good to see you again. The flare-up between Thailand and Cambodia revealing President Trump's strategy, to end wars maybe isn't working as planned. So what can we expect when, that call between President Trump and the leaders of Thailand and Cambodia takes place?
Well, the first thing that he's likely to do is demand that both leaders stop the fighting. He's also likely to remind them of the October peace agreement and what they agreed to. And he's also likely to signal consequences if the violence persists. One thing he could do is threaten more tariffs on both of the countries. This is a tack that he took often with other countries, but this is the exact tack that he took back in July when he threatened to end trade talks with Cambodia and Thailand unless the violence stopped. There is this real risk, though, that one phone call isn't going to be enough. These are long simmering tensions, and Trump has really tried to solve them overnight, not really addressing these core grievances. And Thailand's prime minister has already indicated that this conflict is ultimately a bilateral issue. So President Trump may very well find that these calls, whenever they do happen to take place, that they're not going to be a silver bullet to renewing a ceasefire, but rather kind of setting the stage for broader diplomacy. And that may require multilateral mediation from ASEAN, from China, perhaps, even the UN. And for Trump, he has been very clear that he wants to quell the violence, and he certainly doesn't want to subtract from his personal running tally of the wars or conflicts that he believes he has ended since returning to the White House. He had said that these calls were going to take place on Thursday. The press secretary was asked about this in a briefing earlier. She said those talks have not taken place yet. We have not seen any announcement on Truth Social. So it could very well be that the talks haven't even started at this point.
All right, Tony, thank you very much as always. Tony Waterman reporting for CNA from Washington, D.C. So many facets, if you like, to this story, and for more insights on the conflict, let's speak now with Dr. Gregory Raymond, his senior lecturer, Strategic and Defence Studies Centre at the Coral Bell School of Asia-Pacific Affairs at the Australian National University. Dr. Raymond joins us from Canberra. Hi there, Dr. Raymond. Appreciate you joining us. I want to ask you about, of course, the breaking news, Thailand's king approving the dissolution of parliament more than earlier than was previously stated by Anutin, the Prime Minister. So the first thought that came to mind was, hey, this is a really bad time. But then seconds later, the thought that this could be naked political opportunism as well. So what's the backstory here?
Yeah, I think the assessment that this is a khaki election is a fairly grounded assessment. There are two reasons why Anutin would like to, I guess, hold an election amidst a conflict where he can point to his credentials as protecting Thai sovereignty, standing up for Thailand. One of those reasons is that his performance during the recent very severe floods, unprecedented floods in southern Thailand, was widely condemned. He was seen as acting too slowly and with a degree of indifference about the suffering of those people. Remember, 130 people, or I think perhaps more than that, died in those floods, so very severe floods. The second problem that he has politically is that members of his own cabinet, indeed even him himself, have been implicated in the scam centre business. That is, we now have fairly solid evidence that there has been laundering of the funds from the scam centres located in Cambodia being laundered through Thai financial institutions through a middleman who's known as Benjamin Malberger, or sometimes known as Ben Smith. And this is evidence that's been put together by former Washington Post journalist Tom Wright. Now, that has really destabilised Anutin's, I guess, image as a clean politician. He himself has been photographed, and a photo came out last week of him in the company of Mr. Malberger. And it's a problem for him. The People's Party, the opposition, are asking a lot of very tough questions. And we also know one of his ministers, Tamanat Prompao, has linkages. Also, there's been a number of figures in his ministry and in the bureaucracy that have been able to avoid scrutiny and have presided over this, I guess, corruption of the Thai financial system. Now, of course, this is also intertwined with the conflict because the Hun Sen regime relies to a large degree on proceeds from these massive industrial scale scam centres. Some people estimate up to 60 to 65% of Cambodian GDP now is running from these illicit businesses.
Okay, so Doctor, the political timing, of course, raises questions about the timing of, the border clashes, that is. What would a brought forward poll mean for the escalating tensions on the frontier?
So I think Anutin has largely allocated or delegated responsibility for conduct of war to the Thai military. The Thai military is taking a tougher stance this time around, and this is concerning from the point of view of escalation. They are looking at incursions onto Cambodian Thai territory to try to neutralise Thai forces. They're almost looking at, I guess, a strategy of sterilising the border, that is, moving potentially into the adjacent provinces of Cambodia in order to remove any Cambodian bases or military assets. They are also signalling that they're prepared to use deep strikes if Cambodia escalates to using its long-range missile weapons. So these are all concerning developments, unprecedented really, and at the moment we don't have an off-ramp. So I think what we do need to see is multilateral or great power involvement in this, and potentially President Trump. Of course, one issue is that I don't think tariffs are going to provide the leverage that they did in the past. There's a fairly clear signal coming from the Thai administration that they want those issues kept separate, the border conflict and the tariffs.
Understood.
So whether or not that actually achieves the same results this time is uncertain.
Okay. Dr. Raymond, I want to ask you, conversely, how do you see the clashes affecting how Thais vote? You were talking about problems that Anutin was facing. Is the timing, and if you like, of this particular election, given the clashes as well, going to help him or put him in an even more difficult situation?
Well, I think it could help him. We've seen a rise of a very ultra-nationalistic sentiment amongst Thai people. I guess, animosity towards the neighbouring countries is easily ignited in Thailand. If we look at the primary and secondary school education that many Thais receive when they're growing up, it does tend to promote negative stereotypes of neighbouring countries, and so it's quite easy for animosity to be stoked. And I think this will be a potent factor. At the same time, the People's Party has been perceived at times to be a bit too critical of the military. And while this, in the past election, was a strength for them, it'll be interesting to see whether or not it could be a weakness for them if they're seen to be criticising, I guess, the organisation which is protecting Thai sovereignty. Now, I'm not sure that's going to happen. People are not stupid, and they do. I think a lot of people will be aware that the Thai military will be using this conflict to try and reassert themselves and to promote themselves. So it's going to be a very interesting one to see. Anutin himself, as I've mentioned, has now some serious baggage. So I think this election is going to be very difficult to call. There's going to be a number of factors that come together to determine the result.
Okay, Dr. Raymond, we'll have to leave it there for now. Well, thank you very much for your insight this morning. Dr. Gregory Raymond, Senior Lecturer at Strategic and Defense Studies Center at the Coral Bell School of Asia-Pacific Affairs at ANU. Thank you.